Well, welcome back. I mean, this is one of those programs that I hope sticks with you, and I'd like to introduce you to another mother who's unfortunately had to go through a lot of pain to get here today to help all of us. Michelle Murdock is with us. Michelle, thank you for doing this. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
I'm going to start with something that, you know, I really wish I didn't have to start here, but your journey began the same way as the others with the death of your daughter. Would you mind sharing that story with us?
Absolutely. I think the thing that stands out to me the most is December, just getting that call early in the morning at 8:15 saying that my daughter had died. We had just talked to her a few days prior, and we just weren't expecting it. We knew that she had some recreational drug use, but never at a level of fentanyl. For me, I think that it just made me feel like, at first you feel lost.
Sure.
In the fog, don't know what to say, everything goes blank, it's like you stop breathing.
Sure.
And then when you come to, you try to think of the one thing that you could change. And you know you can't bring your child back. So I think for me, the one thing was to save somebody's child, to save one family from not going through the same pain. We just had my daughter's first year anniversary, and being here today just helps me push through that goal of saving someone. Because unfortunately, in our community, especially the Black community, fentanyl is something that either A, you know nothing, as I did,
Right.
or B, it's to be expected, they're not going to do anything about it anyways, so it's hush hush. And then more lives are lost that way.
So, well, you know, that's interesting, you know, so there's that stigma. With any drug use, there's this automatic judgment, I think, that happens, and I think wrongfully so. And is it more so prevalent in the Black community, especially with fentanyl, for whatever reason? See, I don't know any more about fentanyl than you probably. You probably know much more than I do. How important is it to get the word out so that people are willing to talk about it? Now, you're here today on television talking to a lot of people. Your daughter did have recreational drug use, but she wasn't into that stuff. I mean, how did she die from it? I mean, why did she get it? Where did she get it from?
My daughter, Kenesha, she was an amazing life. She loved life, she loved people, and people loved her. She struggled with mental health issues, and she tried really hard to get help from doctors and the prescribed medications, but she always felt like it made her feel worse. She chose to live her life on the streets. She felt trapped in her mind, and on the streets she felt like she had a freedom. On the streets she met other friends who had mental health issues or other homelessness issues, and they all gravitated together as a community. Within their community, drugs were utilized frequently. I do not understand 100% how fentanyl became part of that. What I do know is they all had Narcan, they all were utilizing drugs, which tells me that if you're homeless on the streets, it's really easy to get access to those drugs.
Yes.
I do know that together, a group of them were utilizing drugs that evening, and for some reason, out of the group where there were 4 people present, she's the only one who passed away. The others scattered and left her there. They did have what they needed. They had the Narcan in hand and chose not to utilize it on her. But when I read her autopsy report, the thing that stands out to me is within the report, they described her as a African American woman with no family who was left in an abandoned house that she apparently had been living in for a while. And and upon review, they suspected overdose. The reason that stands out to me is because in the Black community, when someone is on drugs or someone is found and presumed to have overdosed, they're almost labeled a nobody. They never take in the fact that there is family that is missing this person, that this person might have had a mental health issue. This person may have been given what they thought was their regular recreational drug, however it was laced, and their body did not know it because, as many have said, there's no scent, there's no taste, there's nothing about it that tells you, be careful, this is not the drug you have been taking. And at the end of the day, my daughter was more than an addict who was left in an abandoned home. She had a family, she had children, she was a person. And so my hope is that people realize it's not a Black thing, it's not a white thing, it's not a Hispanic or Asian thing. My daughter didn't come from a poor family, so it doesn't affect just the poor. It affects everyone, and the only way that we can gain any type of control is awareness.
Well, thank you for coming and sharing. I know it's hard and making us more aware. Michelle, thank you very much. And when we come back, we have yet another mother who's gone through a similar kind of experience, but also we'll talk a little bit about what's happening in the schools and ways we can maybe save some of these kids. So stick around.